Tuesday. So this week I'm tracking my fasting. I actually normally intermittently fast anyway, naturally, but I just think sometimes it's useful to have a look at what you're doing. So I use this app Zero, and I can basically track every day how long I want to fast or how long I fasted. So as you can see, I've been doing 18-hour fast, which is super long, but it works for me. So this morning I'm having oats for breakfast, I'm making porridge. I kind of eyeball how much I want, I don't really know, I don't measure. And then I add some oat milk and I cook it on the stove for about 10 minutes or until it's like a nice firm consistency. Then I also made this turmeric latte with coconut milk and this mix I got. Then I topped my oats off with a generous bit of maple syrup and a little bit of granola that had some nuts and some seeds in just to give it a bit more texture, and of course my turmeric latte, which is beautiful and yellow. I found all these random vegetables in my fridge that I didn't know what to do with, so I thought I'd make dumplings by hand. So I didn't really follow a recipe for the filling. I kind of just assumed I'd chop up all the vegetables really small and then combine them to make the filling. So I'm just taking all my vegetables, which are spring onions, leeks, red cabbage and bok choy, chopping them up into really small like cubes or strips, I guess. And yeah, I didn't really measure how much of each I was going to use. I just eyeballed it again. I'm not really one for measuring things when it comes to cooking, to be honest. I just, decided what kind of ratio I'd like of each vegetable to the other and how much I could actually fit in my pan, because this red cabbage was ginormous, so I couldn't use all of it. And then it took me about an hour, and I did this the night before I wanted to cook it as well, which you don't need to know, but I mean, I had the time, so why not? I started off by adding a bit of oil to the pan and then frying off my leeks and my spring onions just so that they could soften, get a little bit translucent. I think it's always best to start with the onions. While the onions were cooking, I also cut up some ginger and some garlic. I think about 3 cloves of garlic and then like a thumb-sized piece of ginger, just to give it a bit more flavour and make it a bit more interesting, because just vegetables would have been kind of boring. So then I added the garlic and ginger in after the onions had softened a bit. Then I went ahead and added in all my red cabbage to the pan because it's quite hard, so I let that fry off for a bit, and once I'd done that I added all my bok choy, which is a bit more watery, and then kind of mixed it all together, kept it on. I was probably cooking all of this for maybe 20 minutes total, maybe more. I just eyeballed it. Once it looked kind of done, I took it off the heat. Then I moved on to making my dough. It's super easy. All you need is flour and water. I got this off a website. I'm not sure which. I'll try and link it below if I find it. I actually added way too much water and then had to add more flour. But anyway, then I started mixing it with a wooden spoon, which was difficult with one hand, by the way. And so once I had kind of formed these nice shaggy clumps, I started molding it. Then I let it rest, and there were several other steps. You'll find it in the recipe. I had to roll it out. It was kind of long, to be honest. I would roll them out into these little shapes, circles, kind of, I wish, fold them up, and this bit really was the longest bit. Like, this took me way longer than I thought, but finally I had like 20 or 30 beautiful little dumplings ready to fry. So I put them in oil at the bottom of the pan, fried them off for 2 minutes, and then added water and steamed them, and this is how they came out. I added a bit of soy sauce and sesame oil in the middle there, and these were actually so delicious. They turned out really well. They were lovely and crispy on the bottom. The filling was actually good. It was good I added the ginger and the garlic for flavor. And yeah, I honestly really enjoyed this lunch, and it kept for ages. And for pudding, I had this delicious chocolate biscuit with a piece of chocolate in the middle. So good. For dinner, I went out to this sushi place called Incognito in Soho, which is really delicious, but I actually decided to eat vegetarian tonight just because I mean, why not? There were loads of delicious options, as you can see. And yeah, I really enjoyed this meal. Cheeky rice pudding and a cookie. Couldn't help it. 16-hour fast a day instead of 18, because why not? And then I made myself breakfast, scrambled eggs, potatoes, mushrooms and onions, and a bit of smoked salmon on the side, which was really delicious. For lunch I made a kind of veggie bowl, so I'm using this chickpea rice, which is actually delicious. I don't have a problem with normal rice, but you know, I just like it. Then onions, peppers and tender stem broccoli. And also a bit of feta and a spoonful or two of pesto to go along with that, which then turns into this beautiful bowl. It was so good, really healthy, fresh, and actually very easy to make. Not a lot of work involved in this. Then I decided to have a bit of granola with vanilla yogurt as, I don't know, an afternoon snack, a dessert, who knows. Moving on to dinner, I cooked these mini tofu burgers, which are so good. If you ever find them, try them. And with that, I had some leftover dumplings and just some green beans that we had in the fridge. Then after dinner, I just made myself one of these lattes, a nighttime latte, and I had some oat biscuits. I always need something chocolatey at the end of the day. And today, we've gone for chocolate oat biscuits. This mug is my life motto. I don't really tend to eat like a traditional breakfast because I fast until about, I don't know, midday or lunchtime-ish every day. I just tend to eat whatever I feel like as the first meal of the day, and usually it's more lunchy. So as you can see here, I'm cleaning up and chopping up these lovely potatoes, and I'm gonna make delicious crispy potato wedges for lunch. I swear these are so good. So once I cut up this mountain of potato wedges, I boiled them in water for about 10 minutes. Don't forget bicarbonate of soda, it softens the outsides up to make them nice and crispy. And then after they're boiled, I'll roast them in the oven for about half an hour on about 200 degrees, using all these lovely spices to give them loads of flavor so they're not bland. I love tofu, I eat it quite a lot, so I'm taking this extra firm tofu and chopping it up into kind of like patty thickness slices, if that makes sense. What I'm going to do is I'm going to marinate these for as long as I can in soy sauce, sesame oil, and a little bit of maple syrup to make it a bit sweet. Then I'm getting these vegetables and I'm going to cook those up together as well. And I'm making a little bit of garlic spicy mayo on the side by adding leftover spices to this vegan mayo. And here's the finished product. I couldn't be bothered to cook tonight, so I just took this pre-made vegetable tortellini and I made a tomato sauce. All you have to do is chop up some onions in a pan, fry them, add your chopped tomatoes, add tomato paste, sun-dried tomato paste, whatever you want. Fry it up for a bit, add pasta water so it's going to stick, and here you go. It's good, it's easy, it takes you 15 minutes. It's really not that much. Of course, my sweet tooth strikes again, so here I've got this sheep's milk chocolate cream dessert. I don't really know what it is, but it tastes good to me. So that's all that matters. And then after dinner, well, after that, I'm gonna make myself a little cacao latte with oat milk. Cheers. I try not to restrict any foods in my diet because if I restrict, I'm just gonna want them more. So if I want chocolate oat biscuits after dinner, you know I'm gonna have chocolate oat biscuits after dinner. Maybe I won't have them every day, maybe I will. It doesn't really matter to me, to be honest. As long as I feel good and I feel full, then we're happy. I went for brunch at this place called Cafe Beam in Notting Hill. It's so delicious, and I got 2 things because I couldn't choose: a mushroom toast and a half stack of pancakes, because I needed the sweet and the savoury. I really couldn't make up my mind, but this was a good decision. This was delicious. For some reason my snack today was burrata with pesto on toast. I don't really know how that qualifies as a snack, it really doesn't, but we had some in the fridge and I got excited. I love burrata, so yeah, why not? Couple of dark chocolate rice cakes for my sweet tooth. Then another lazy pasta dinner, fresh pasta, tomatoes chopped from a can, wild mushrooms, cavolo nero, and of course onions, my favorite. I basically just fried all the vegetables together, added the tomatoes, and then added the pasta and some pasta water. Didn't take a video of it though, sorry. Could you guess? I'm having chocolate oat biscuits again, obviously. But this time with lactose-free milk instead of non-dairy milk, because I just felt like it today. I was feeling like it was a good idea. But I am lactose intolerant, hence why I'm having lactose-free. It's Saturday morning and I'm taking a rest day today. I accidentally filmed this in slow-mo, by the way. That was not on purpose. But anyway, I'm on my way to my favorite matcha cafe because they're closing down. It's their last day. I'm devastated. It's such a sad time. But so I'm gonna get a matcha latte and I'm gonna get a piece of matcha cake because it is my favorite thing, and I don't know where I'm gonna be able to get it now that they're closing. So I obtained my matcha. The place was called Matcha and Beyond, by the way. If they ever open up again, you should go. I got a matcha latte with coconut milk, which personally I think is the best milk to go with matcha because matcha is super bitter and coconut milk is naturally quite sweet, so I feel like they complement each other really well. So I drank this on the way home, enjoying my Saturday morning until it started hailing on me, but that is London for you. For lunch I delivered from Baker and Spice. I got a salmon fillet, broccoli, aubergine, and then the chickpea salad, but I didn't really like the chickpea. This is the beautiful matcha cake. It's like a matcha velvet cake. I usually cut the slice in half lengthways because it's so fat that I need to I can make 2 slices out of it. But this is the last time I'm eating this. After that cake, I had no appetite for dinner, so I just had a couple of Lindor, and that was the end of my what I eat in a week. Thanks everyone for watching. Let me know if you liked the video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!